Okay, we're going to apply Scamper to the challenge of moving yourself or people in general from one floor to another in a building. This could be a small home, or it could be a block of flats, or it could be where you work. So moving people from one floor to another. And Scamper is a set of provocations. It stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify or magnify, put to other uses, erase, reverse or rearrange. We're just going to go through each of these provocations one by one and come up with a few to several ideas using each of these prompts. So moving from one floor to another, what can we substitute?
We can substitute the elevating mechanism for an actual room itself.
So for going into a place and being in an elevator rather than
like what if this room was actually the
elevator?
elevator?
Substitute the physical presence for a virtual presence.
Let's move on to the next provocation. What can we combine? What kinds of things can work in combination for this challenge of moving people from one floor to another?
You could, instead of just being an in-between space, you could have people working or like going under some other action that they would go in the building anyway in the circulation space. So building function plus circulation.
What can we adapt?
Maybe you adapting, instead of taking time to walk upstairs or lifts and like having a break, you could adapt these elevator shafts into like longer walking spaces, where like green spaces in a building where you actually take your coffee break or something. So
you could adapt your body. We could adapt our bodies so that like human beings can climb vertical surfaces, or even just our clothing. Like we could have shoes inspired by mountain goats that can just go and like have like a braking system in them.
You could adapt like a escalator to just run backwards so that it becomes a workout rather than... You could just adapt the room itself, so rather than having to move up to another floor, the room redresses or the walls move on a system that makes it the same space as the floor above.
Capture that, and then of course you could do it virtually, so it could be physically or virtually, just using our screens and an immersive environment. All right, so we've done adaptation. What can we magnify or modify?
maybe with lifts, like the counterweights, maybe can be timed. Instead of there being like a physical counterweight, you can like time it so that groups of people kind of change.
Okay, let's move on to put to other uses. What can we put to another use in terms of our challenge of moving people from floor to floor in a building?
We could use the cables that move the lifts, and we could use them as communication devices. You could fire stairs are a thing, and they're kind of underused. So they have to be in a concrete box because they have to be fireproof, and they have to be in a corner so that the firemen can get in and up to any level. But you could reuse those as other spaces. So in big office buildings, you have fire stairs that are never used, and then you have the fancy stairs for clients and guests. But if you could reuse that fire space in a way.
That's a really good one. That gets us in nicely into erase. So obviously we could erase gravity.
Erase gravity. Yeah, or maybe erase the need for any like these single objects, staircase, lifts. Maybe we all just like get into a building with a harness on and we just get pulled up and put in the right place.
Okay, should we go on to reverse and rearrange? We've had lots of ideas there under erase. Let's see what we can come up with under reverse and rearrange.
You're creating the illusion of turning gravity sideways by actually turning the floor slabs sideways.
Yeah, maybe you always go down because it's easier, but then the whole building turns. So that you're always going down, but then it like...
When you had rearranged the whole, the building architecture, or rearranged the building form. Okay, we've done really well there. We've applied Scamper to moving people around a multi-level building, or indeed moving the multi-level building to the people. Scamper is just this set of provocations, and in this case it's helped us as a group prompt lots of different ideas, and we can see that from some of these discussions that are beginning to emerge. Now we've got our long list, we can come back to a few of them and see which ones we really want to pick up upon or blend together in order to synthesize an idea. Thank you very much.